Hello everyone and welcome back. Yes, in today's lesson we are going to complete the four subject matters which are uh, enough to, so and such. Yeah, they are in fact they are four words, but they are more than words, more than being words. They are like the busy streets of a city. Yes, they are like a busy streets of New York, of London, and they are very useful. We need them when to speak English, or when it comes to speaking English or writing English. Let's complete them today. In the previous video, we studied uh, enough and to. So today we are going to focus on so and such. Yes, let's see how they function, how they work. Okay, trip to, so and such. Okay, we should know them like this after the verb again. Okay, uh, whether an adjective or an adverb comes after them, it is like this. They always come after the verb, whether the verb is to be or action verb, or whether an action verb with a modal. Okay. So, but I think it is worth memorizing like this. So adjective that, so adjective that, so adverb that. Okay. It is so cheap that. Yes, uh, it is, for example, let's think about a bird. The bird is singing so beautifully that, okay? The bird is singing so beautifully that, yes. So adjective that, so adverb that. And then, of course, clause of it as subject, verb, object. Okay. Okay, dialogue one. The pen was so nice that the pen was verb. So nice that I couldn't resist buying it. Why couldn't you afford to buy the cell phone? So the cell phone was too expensive to buy. Why couldn't you afford to buy the cell phone? The cell phone was too expensive to buy. Okay, let's remember all the four of them together like this. Clever enough to do something. Too complex for somebody to do something. And now that clause after so and such. So clever that. Such a clever boy that. Okay. Billy is clever enough to understand that story. Billy is clever enough to understand that story. Adjective enough. The article is too complex for him to understand. The article is too complex for him to understand. He is so clever that he can retell the story, the long story well. He is so clever that he can tell the long story well again. The fourth one, Billy is such a clever boy that, such a strong boy that, such a smart boy that, such a tall boy that, such a short boy that. Billy is such a clever boy that he can write a similar story. Okay, this is like this. Let's practice them now. Okay, let's remember two. Why don't you drink your coffee? It's too hot. No, it's not too hot to drink. Go ahead. Why don't you buy that car? It's too expensive to buy. No, it's not too expensive to buy. Okay, so as I said before, we can use them both in positive, negative sentences and questions. Okay. Yes, to adjective, to do. It's never too late to learn a foreign language. It's never too late to learn a foreign language. This must be our motto. B, I feel that way too. Yes, a nice expression. I feel that way too. I think so too. Okay. What else is not too late to do, to be, or to have? Yes, let's start. It's never too late to be a YouTuber of English. It's never too late to write a story. It's never too late to have a YouTube channel. Okay. It's never too late to apologize. Yes. It's never too late to start a job, start a new job. It's never too say. It's never too late to say. It's never too late to say goodbye. Okay. Dialogue 3, Furkan was walking so hastily that, do you see the verb, action verb, past continuous tense, was walking, okay? Furkan was walking so hastily that he didn't notice or he didn't recognize us. Furkan was so hasty, so fast, so quick. Yes. Adjective. After to be, of course, possible, but action verb. Here is action verb. Furkan was walking so hastily that he didn't notice, he didn't recognize us. Why couldn't Nermin answer the teacher's question? Nermin was too, Nermin was listening too carelessly. Yes, Nermin was listening to the teacher too carelessly that she couldn't answer the teacher's question. Yes, too carelessly. He wasn't listening to the teacher carefully enough. Now, music festival says the image. Tufan Kıraç sang so beautifully that we admired him. What did Orhan Akalmaz do that you admired him? Orhan Akalmaz spoke so eloquently, articulately that we also admired him. We respected Orhan Akalmaz. Dialogue 5, they say that Japan's natural sources are so limited that, so adjective that, after to be, so limited that they have to import a lot of raw material for their industry. 6, Jafar is so young that he can't apply for the post or for the job. Who is too old to apply for the post? Jafar's grandfather is too old to apply for the post. Okay. In parentheses, let's examine them. Let's check them. Jafar can't apply for the post because he is too young. Jafar is too young to apply for the post. Jafar is not old enough to apply for it. Yes. We studied enough and too in the previous video. More than this. Okay. Dialogue 7. Now it's time to study so and such. The ditch was so wide that, okay, the ditch was so wide that I couldn't jump over it. Why couldn't you jump over the fence? The fence was too high that I couldn't jump over the fence, over it. Now Roman number 2. So much, so little, and uncountable nouns that. There was so much work. Yes, you can put tens of, hundreds of uncountable nouns here. There was so much water. There was so much snow. There was so much yogurt. There was so much iron. Okay. There was so much work that we couldn't finish it. Is it clear? There was so much work. Okay. Now, so many or so few. Okay. So much or so little for uncountables, but for countable nouns, so many, so few. That. Okay, there was so many files. Okay, there was so many files that I couldn't count them. Why couldn't you count the birds in the air? How could I count them? There were so many birds, okay? There were so many birds that I couldn't count them. Of course, let me say this much and you understand the rest. So you can put all the countable nouns after so many, so few, okay? So many books, so many tables, so many trees, yes, so many birds, so many people, yeah, and this, you can change the sentence. For example, I saw so many people, there were so many people. Okay, you future tense, you will see, you will meet so many people. Yes. Dialogue 10. Leyla has got so many books that, yes, Leyla has got so many books that, Leyla can read so many books that, Leyla can give you so many books that, okay. Leyla has so many books that, or there are so many books, there are so many books that, okay. You can see so many books that, Leyla has got so many books that her room looks like a library. How successful is Natalia as a singer? Natalia is so successful that she has lots of followers. Okay. Roman number 4, such an adjective noun that. Yes, we should memorize it. Such an adjective noun that. Such an adjective noun that. Natalia was such a successful singer that. Natalia was such a successful singer that they called her superstar. Okay. Natalia was such a successful singer that they called her superstar. Okay. Or Natalia was so successful that they called her superstar. Why did you read that book 4 times? That book was, sorry, it was such an interesting book that I read it 4 times. Okay. Or that book was such an interesting book that I read it 4 times. Oh, here is a gift. What does it say? I joined this really interesting book club. Yes, all the books are in that book club. Interesting. Okay. I joined this really interesting book club. So why did he join this club? The club was such an interesting book club that he joined it. Yes. It was such an interesting book club that that young man joined it. Okay. Now, the direct use of force is who said this beautiful word of wisdom? Yes, David Friedman said. What did he say? Let's see what he said. The direct use of force is such a poor solution to any problem that it is generally employed only by small children and large nations. Yes. So here, force takes the place of wisdom. Okay. Okay, Roman number 1. Such adjective uncountable. We should be familiar with them by repeating it again and again. Such useful research, such useful water, such useful knowledge, such useful yogurt. Okay, such useful air. Okay. Abdurrahman had done such useful research about solar energy that we admired him. So research is a noun and it is uncountable. Why did we admire Wahid? The Wahid, let's find an uncountable noun. Wahid made such useful ayran or lemonade, such delicious lemonade that we admire him. Yes, Wahid did such delicious lemonade that we admired him. Okay. Roman number 2. Our company has such useful scientific articles. Such useful scientific articles. So article is countable but plural. So we don't use, for example, Ahmet wrote such a useful scientific article. Such a useful scientific article. But if it is plural, we just say such useful articles. Okay. Our company has such useful scientific articles that you can make use of them whenever you want. Yes, such useful scientific articles. Such useful English videos. Okay. I hope this video will be such a useful video, and you say that it is such a useful video that I can watch. I have to watch it again and again. Now, Roman number 3, such a lot of uncountable, such a lot of water, such a lot of air, such a lot of milk. Yes. Billy has such a lot of information about the computer that he always provides us with true knowledge about it. Why can Nedim buy his second car? So Nedim, let's follow the example sentence. Nedim has such a lot of money. Nedim has such a lot of money that he can buy his second car. Okay, money is uncountable, but dollars, euros are countable. Why can Bob risk, or we can make the same sentence again, or we can rephrase it like this. Why can Nedim buy his second car? Nedim has such a lot of dollars, or Nedim has such a lot of euros that he can buy his second car. Why can Bob risk opening the 7th supermarket? Why can Bob risk opening the seventh supermarket? Nedim, which uncountable noun can we use here? Why can Bob risk opening the seventh supermarket? Yeah, for example, when we are in a lesson, we think together, at least to find words. So I can find a word which is uncountable, connected with a supermarket. Why can Bob risk opening the seventh? So again, yes, risk opening the seventh. So Bob is determined to open the seventh supermarket. Yes, we can say Bob has like this. Bob has such a lot of money. Bob has such a lot of money that he can risk opening the seventh supermarket. Yes. Okay, Roman number 4, such a lot of countable nouns, of course. Timur Bey has collected such a lot of old clocks that he has a special room in his house for his clocks. Why does Sedat Bey have special room for his sticks? Yes, so Sedat Bey has collected again. Sedat Bey has collected such a lot of sticks, walking sticks, that he has a special room in his house for his sticks. Okay, this is a walking stick for the old people. Now, time to compare. But what does the image say? Let's see it. When you work and move towards achieving your goal, you intellectually grow. Yes. While you are growing physically, you also grow intellectually when you work and when you move towards achieving your goal. Okay, nice. Nice and natural. Yes, nice and natural opinion. Now, please compare. Roman number 1. You are industrious enough to succeed your lessons. Okay, adjective enough to do. Let's try to make it adverb enough to do. So, you work instead of you are. You work industriously enough. Okay, industriously enough to succeed your lessons. Okay. You are so industrious that, so this is important. Industrious enough to do something, okay? Industrious enough to do something. Roman number 2, so industrious that, so adjective that. You are so industrious that you can succeed your lessons. Okay, so adjective that. You are, Roman number 3, you are such an industrious person that, such a hardworking person, okay? You are such an hardworking person that you can succeed your lessons. Okay, such a adjective noun that. You are not too lazy. Yeah, not too adjective to do. You are not too lazy to succeed your lessons. Too adjective to do in a negative sentence. Now, I think this will be a clear quiz about them. Please rewrite. Rewrite means write again. Rephrase, yeah, reinterpret, rewrite. Rewrite the given sentences, keeping the same meaning, giving the same meaning. This project is very complicated. Thus means so, we can't take it on. We can't take the responsibility of it because it is very complicated. Or this project is too complicated to take on. This is the nature of too adjective to do, okay? This project is too complicated to take on. to accept. B, it is such a complicated project that we can't take it on. Such an adjective, noun that. It is such a complicated project that we can't take it on. The last one, this project is so complicated that we can't take it on. We can't take it on. We can't accept it. We can't have the responsibility of it. Okay. Let's see the key. Okay, this project is very, very complicated. Thus, we can't take it on. This is too complicated. Yes, for us too. It's such a complicated project that, and the last one, we can, that this project is so complicated that we can't take it on. Okay. Second one, Shukri is quite tall. Okay, imagine that a young man, for example, Shukri is quite tall, so he can be a basketball player. Okay, with the connector so, here is a sentence and it has a message in it. Let's give the same message in another way or in other ways. A, Shukri is tall enough to be a basketball player. Or Shukri is tall enough to become a basketball player. Okay. Shukri is so tall that he can become a basketball player. Shukri is such a tall person that close, he can become a basketball player. Shukri is not too short. Shukri is not too short to become a basketball player or to be. Shukri is not too short to be a basketball player. Yes. He has the privilege of being tall. So Shukri is not too short, okay, to be a basketball player. Yes, this is key. Enough to do that close with so, okay, such a tall person that, okay, too short, too adjective, to do, to be, to come, to have, etc. The third one, drink is very expensive. That's why we can't buy it. Drink is so expensive that, yes, so expensive that we can't buy. Yes, you can say too expensive to buy. So expensive, but say yes, interesting. So expensive that we can't buy. If you just say so expensive, it's clear, okay? Why won't you buy this ring? Why won't you buy this ring? So expensive is enough, okay? Or too expensive is enough, in fact. Drink is, but incomplete. Drink is so expensive that I can't buy it. Or it's such an expensive. Now here, not just adjective, but such an adjective. So such an expensive ring that we can't buy it. Is it clear? Drink is too expensive for me. Drink is too expensive for me to buy. Okay. Drink is not cheap enough. Yeah, also possible. Drink is not cheap enough to buy for me. Not cheap enough for me to buy. Okay. Drink is not cheap enough for me, for us to buy. Okay. The fourth one, the suitcase was very heavy. Consequently, as a consequence, as a result, I couldn't lift it. Why? Why couldn't you lift it? Because the the suitcase was very heavy, or the suitcase was so heavy that I couldn't lift it. So heavy that it was such a heavy suitcase that I couldn't lift it. The suitcase wasn't light enough for me to lift. Yes, the suitcase wasn't light enough to lift is enough, in fact, but the better one is for who? For whom? The suitcase wasn't light enough for me to lift. The suitcase was too heavy for me to lift. Is it clear? Yes. To adjective, to do, adjective enough to do, and such a adjective noun that, and so adjective that. Okay. Okay, this is the key. Yes, let's take a look at this one. David was very young. David was very young. As a consequence, as a result, he couldn't take part in the competition. David was too young to take part in. Okay, for two, we use two. Okay, David was not that close. David was too young to take part in the competition, to join the competition. B, David wasn't old enough to take part in the competition. Yes, again, enough to. To is used with to. Enough is used with to, but what about so and such? We use them, or they are used with that clauses. Is it clear? David was so young. David was so young that he couldn't take part in the competition. Yeah, David was so young that he couldn't take part in the competition. David was such a young person that he couldn't take part in the competition. Yes, do you now, David, A, look at, let's take a look at A, for example. To and to. Enough and to, but so and that clause, such and that clause. Please complete meaningfully. You can do it, I think. Yes, by thinking about the previous example sentences, you can do it clearly. Okay, please complete meaningfully. So this is an open exercise practice. Okay. Are you, I couldn't read, smart enough to solve this problem? Are you smart enough? Yes, adjective enough. Are you smart enough to work for that company? Okay. Is he patient enough to play chess? Yes, he is patient enough to play chess. I am too impatient to use a tripod. I am too impatient to use a tripod. Means that I can't use a tripod. I am not patient. Okay, do you think Carol is too lazy to Google that book? To look for that book on the Google? Okay. Too lazy to take the stairs, to use the stairs. Too impatient to wait for the elevator, the lift. Can you lift 100 kilograms of sheep? Yes, so you are so strong. Okay. You are so strong that you can lift 100 kilograms of sheep. Or you are such a strong person that you can lift 100 kilograms of sheep. You are strong enough. You are strong enough to lift to lift 100 kilograms of sheep. Okay, who is such a successful player that our other players imitate his style? Who is such a successful player that other players imitate his style? Now, Steve McCarron said something about David Beckham. He is such a great player that, yes, David Beckham. David Beckham is such a great player that he has the capabilities to let no one affect his game. Are you rich enough to buy it? For example, there is a car. You say it's a beautiful car, and someone says, are you rich enough to buy it? Are you rich enough to buy it? Yes, I am rich enough to buy it. But what does the gift say? The gift says, no man is rich enough to buy back his past. Yes. And Oscar Wilde said it. Okay, quiz time. Please choose the correct alternative. I am not happy with my new mobile phone. I thought you were. Means I thought you were happy with it. All of your friends have completed their experiments, but unfortunately, all of your friends have completed their experiments, but unfortunately, you haven't. 3, the manager said to the secretary, you will check that all the details, you will check that all the details are correct, blank, blank. Won't you? D, yes. Your father's typewriter is being fixed now. Your father's typewriter is being fixed now. Isn't it typewriter? Isn't it A? Meral should expect Metin to give the book to her. Meral should expect Metin to give the book to her. Shouldn't she? Where is shouldn't she? B. B is true. Okay, this is the key. Now vocabulary, study now. Learning is a recurring, yes, happening again and again. Okay, recurring. Learning is a recurring event. Learning demands a recurring demand. Yes, here demand is both noun and verb. Learning demands means wants, needs, requires a recurring demand. A recurring will. Yes. Recurring causes betterment. Of course, recurring causes betterment. Recurring or repetitiveness, repetition, repeating makes perfect. Yes, practice also makes perfect. The original form is practice makes perfect, but recurring makes perfect as well. So this is a recurring online English class. Yes, English acquiring class. A week later, I'll welcome you again. Yes, I'll welcome you again. I hope. Okay, welcoming something. Okay, I hope we will have a welcoming situation. Yes, by verb ing, by knowing or knowingly is enough. The person does the right things knowingly, on purpose. Do you believe that a person can do the wrong things knowingly? No, I don't believe that a person can do the wrong things knowingly. Business, don't listen to that chatter. Don't listen to that chatter. You take care of your own business. You take care of your own business. Temporariness and permanency, they are not pursuing temporary funding or financing. On the contrary, they are after permanent funding, or they prefer permanent funding. In order of importance, is a nice expression. In order of importance. In order of importance, listening has a priority, takes precedence. Then it comes to understanding. So understand is the second important step, point. Listening comes first in order of importance. Then it comes to understanding and learning, observing, digesting, writing, telling, expressing, speaking, and applying, respectively, one after the other, sequentially, consecutively, successively, serially. These are beautiful adverbs. Okay. They follow each other. Okay. For example, understanding follows listening, learning follows listening and understanding, and observing follows or comes after learning, digesting comes after learning, writing comes after digesting, etc., etc. Good behavior, the heading is good behavior. Be good to your friends, or treat your friends well, treat your colleagues well, treat your work fellows well, treat your family members well. These are practical sentences. Over and over. The repetition of good and necessary words does not bother us. We also do not become tired of. We are also not tired of, also possible, eating delicious and required foods over and over again. Yes. Noisy, a practical sentence again. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows that it won't be easy. Everybody knows that it won't be the same again. Or everybody knows that that will be noisy. That thing, I don't know, whatever it is. I don't know what it is, yes, but everybody knows that that will be noisy or that will not be easy. Okay, yes, thank you for having this lesson together today, and see you next time.